Hey, sisters, email subscribers. We are so happy to be bringing you part 2 of the Favorite Things episode. Thanks so much for being a part of our email subscriber list, but mainly just a part of our community and who we are.
Yeah, this is things we love. And you're not a thing, but we love you. So it feels appropriate.
Okay, well, we're going to pick up right where we left off on the podcast, and that begins with clothes. So, Alex, talk to me. What are your favorite pieces of clothing in the last year?
Yeah, well, if you haven't listened to the episode yet, we are saying these are the things we love based on a year of COVID. So let's be honest. I have worn maybe sweatpants every single day of the last year. But my trick, I am typically a thrifter. I don't go and spend, I don't know. I just kind of wear what I wear. But I tried to be a little bit.
Because you look cute in even a brown paper sack. I'm just saying.
Well, because it's easy and anyway, it's just who I am. So I decided this summer that I was going to be a little bit more intentional because it was getting a little depressing with the things I was wearing over and over. And I wanted to refresh my wardrobe. And the thing about the thrift store is that, you can find cute stuff, but it's never the stuff of the season. It's always at least a season, if not a year or two behind. And so I know my size in the Ann Taylor Loft world. Because I'm a petite and not all stores carry petite that just means short arms, short legs. Then I can go to Ann Taylor Loft, or I can even better order online and know my sizes. Well, they have been having the most amazing clearance sales at the end of every season. So again, you may not be getting like the thing at the beginning of the season, but you're getting it at the end. And they tend to have 50 to 70% off the sale price. So this summer, I just said, I'm going to buy myself a little capsule wardrobe. When things cost $8, then I can do that. Now, I know there's the whole cheap clothing industry situation. This was just how I did it this summer. And I am going to continue to do it to refresh my wardrobe in a way where I don't have to go into a store. I can purchase it online. I know my sizes. It's affordable and it's somewhat fashion forward. My daughters may not agree, but for me, it's fashion forward.
Yeah, totally. I've heard people say that who are on the shorter side about Ann Taylor Loft, just that that's a great option. And I love more high-end stores that have great sales because there's a lot of them that don't. They never, like Lulu. I mean, they just don't have to. They have a make too much sale, but it's not really a sale. Whereas like Athleta, I mean, or some people say Athleta, however you decide to say it. They have incredible sales at the end of their season and they really slash their prices. So, I mean, you got to love quality products that have good sales. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And really, part of it was I just couldn't justify spending a lot of money on clothes because I'm not leaving my house.
I know.
So it was just for me and my own mirror and the people that live with me. Because they're like,
look at you every day and the same thing. Okay, I did Morgan Tyree, who we adore. She's organized me. She's a professional organizer and she's a good friend. And she had this story yesterday that I shared on my Instagram, and I loved it. It said a little tip about closet organizing. If you would not walk in a store and buy that item today, give it away. Wasn't that a good tip? So like if you're looking at something in your closet asking, should I keep this or should I give it away? You say, would I buy this? And then you make your decision.
Yeah. And give yourself permission to change because obviously you bought it at some point, but that doesn't mean you have to say you would buy it today.
Yeah. It gives you freedom. And then you thank it because we're going to Marie Kondo it. Thank you. Thank you for your service to my life over the last 3 years. And then you give it away.
And back to Goodwill you go. I just recycle. I go to Goodwill and I shop and then I give my clothes to Goodwill. It's just this circle. Okay. The other thing, again, year of COVID, is we have been in the search for the perfect mask, face mask.
Yes.
And this is not the perfect face mask, because the perfect face mask is the one that God gave us, which is no mask, right? That's where we feel the best. But if we need to wear a mask, I really like, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to pronounce it Janu. Have you heard of Janu face masks? I really like them. I like how they're shaped. They're cloth masks. They're made from scrubs materials, which probably doesn't have anything to do with their safety quality, but you just feel medical in them. And but they have lots of patterns. And I got them originally because they have kid sizes. And so for my two youngest girls, we were having a hard time finding face masks that stay on, and they have really fun patterns. And so you have to buy them in 5-packs. You can buy more, like you can buy a pack of 50 for an office or something. But if for your family, if you just don't need very many, you can buy a little 5-pack with trains, or we got some with flowers, and I like how they feel on my face. So I got the grown-up size.
Yeah. I would say so I was trying to find the perfect mask for my daughter, who was actually working in a restaurant. And I was like, she needs the perfect mask. And so I was actually on the hunt for her. And her favorite one was one that I got by Felina. And if you've been following the Favorite Things episodes, you know I talk about the Felina leggings like all the time. I mean, they're still my favorite, but I'm not mentioning them this year because we've mentioned them every other year. So, but you buy them at Costco. I mean, it's not like you can buy them online on their website. They also carry them at Costco. But they make face masks and they're fantastic. They're great. They're super soft. They're that same soft material that their leggings are. And then my other favorite is J. Crew has a really, really great leopard mask. And you know that I have to have a leopard mask in my repertoire. I just have to. So their leopard mask is my absolute favorite.
Okay, there you go. Top leopard mask category.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Krista? Other than masks, what have you been wearing in your COVID life?
Well, anything leggings is wonderful. So let's talk about the very popular Spanx faux leather leggings. Have you heard of them?
They may not be as popular in my world as they are in your world.
Well, you probably don't even know actually how many people are wearing them. They can't keep them in stock. It's kind of like the one pan, the one pan I mentioned earlier. But they are fabulous. And they are Spanx, which means they hold things together real nicely. And they're fashion forward because they have this faux leather look. And so they look like pants, but they're really leggings.
But they're Spanx.
And leggings aren't pants. But they kind of look like pants. So there you go. So I would say, anything leggings right now is just pretty much my favorite. And then I actually got my daughter this. So this isn't something that I got for myself, but I bought my daughter Barefoot Dreams light long cardigan for Christmas. And I want to steal it from her every single time I see her because it is the most comfortable. It's like wearing a blanket. Barefoot Dreams has those incredible blankets. A lot of babies have them, they're like the favorite baby blanket. Well, they now make sweaters and it's literally like wearing a blanket and it's the most comfortable thing I've ever seen. So I didn't get it for myself, but it was a gift, Christmas gift for her. But I would really like that. So if anyone wants to buy me that for Christmas next year, that would be great. And then, you know what I did find though at a great price point is it's called the Street Level Reversible Tote. And it's $49, which for a bag, I think is a good price. And it has black, just a solid like faux leather black on the outside and then leopard print. Again, we're back to leopard, but it is me. We're back to leopard print, but it has just leopard on the inside. So it's subtle leopard and it's big. And so you can like,
subtle leopard.
I can subtle leopard. I can throw, it is pretty classic and you can throw your stuff in there. I can carry my laptop in there. I mean,
that's key.
Love this tote. I love this tote. It's durable because it's not real leather. So it doesn't scratch like real leather. And I think it's a really solid price point and they have different colors. So you don't have to get the leopard on the inside. They have some that are non-leopard, but it's just a really nice, great bag.
Yeah. I followed the link that you sent. It's cute.
See,
It's
subtle
definitely cute.
leopard, right?
I didn't notice the leopard. It was so subtle.
Yeah.
But I did notice the classic look. And I
Mhm.
like that. I like a good classic bag.
And then I'd say the last thing is I'm always looking I wear my Apple Watch every day. I'm really big on tracking my steps these days and tracking my, all the things. I just like the convenience of that. And I'm always looking for a good strap. And so there is one I found that's more jewelry like so that I can wear it more during, work hours. And it's the Scallop Apple Watch silver gold jewelry strap. And what I like about it is it's silver and gold, which I like.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like a watch strap. So then, you can just wear it all the time. And it looks more like a piece of jewelry than an athletic watch, which for me, again, some people don't care that it looks like an athletic watch, but for me, I like it. I like to elevate the style just a little bit.
You like the bling.
I
You
do.
want it. Yeah. I get it.
All right. Well, let's move to favorite tip. What is your favorite tip from the last year?
Well, I discovered the wonderful gift of Walmart delivery during the COVID season. And so I subscribed. It was like $12 a month or something for unlimited Walmart delivery. And so we're big Amazon Prime. And I never know, because we live in a major city, if other people have Amazon come as quickly as they do to our home, but they come really fast to our home. But sometimes things take a few days, and sometimes you want toilet paper like today or tomorrow. And so during especially heightened COVID precaution times, I subscribed to this Walmart delivery. And it was great because the thing about Walmart, I always say, you can get eggs and you can get a basketball in the same shopping trip.
I know.
And so anyway, that helped me. And then our local Kroger chain also did curbside pickup, which they've been doing, but they really amped it up during COVID. And I hope they never take it away, because I can just click, 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 click. I usually have to do it the day before to get a pickup spot.
Right. Yes.
So if you're needing dinner tonight, it might be a little bit of a problem. But if you have enough forethought, and I have even sent my teenagers to go pick it up, because you just go in the slot, you call the number, you say, I'm in slot number 2, they bring it out. It's lovely. And I would much rather do that. Now, I am not the person who has to look at every orange and every apple that goes in my cart.
Me either.
I have some extended family members that is the case, and they just cannot let someone else pick out their produce. I'm not that person. So it works for me.
Okay. Clarifying question. Do you order toilet paper on Prime? You do?
Yeah.
I actually order stuff like that on Prime.
Yeah. Sometimes I get it at Costco. On Prime, they have, if there's something that you order frequently, like toilet paper, dog food, that you just know you go through at a certain rate, if you sign up for their regular delivery, where you don't even have to go in and order it, it just shows up at your door every 6 weeks, they give you like a 5% discount.
Right. But then you've got all the boxes all the time. How do you feel about the boxes?
Yeah, I don't love the boxes, but the truth is Costco has a ton of packaging too. When I go buy some things in bulk there, like, why do these 2 gallons of milk have to be in a box?
Right. I know. The problem is that we don't have curbside recycling. So we have to haul all of our recycling to the dump. And I'm starting to literally go, that comes in a box.
I can't do it.
How can I avoid the box? Because I mean, we're all so tired of lugging boxes everywhere.
Yeah. And it's not a good use of resources to have all this extra packaging. So, yeah, I know people feel differently about Amazon just in general, and the delivery element too. But I will tell you, during COVID, if I could have it delivered, and especially if I could have it delivered at no extra charge, I was having it delivered. And I am going to continue to take advantage of the curbside pickup at the grocery store.
Okay. Congratulations. I'm
Thank
really
you.
happy.
Thank you very much. What about you? What's your favorite tip?
Okay. Favorite tip. And I just can't believe that I'm even saying this as a tip. Because I mean, it sounds a little crazy, but instead of fully drying your sheets, you actually put them on the bed wet and then they dry straighter, not as wrinkled. So I was pretty doubtful at first because I really was skeptical of putting wet sheets on my bed. But literally, I mean, a lot of people take them straight from the washer and put them right on the bed. I can't quite go that far. So I just do a little bit of drying and then pull them out and then put them on. And then you let them dry without comforters on them the rest of the day. And then they stay straight.
And you've done it and it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. But you have to wait to make the rest of the bed till later in the day.
Yeah.
But because I do I like linen sheets. Now I've got these bamboos on our bed, which I talked about in the podcast episode. Went on for a long time about those. So, I mean, those also are very wrinkly. So, yeah, it is a nice thing because they do straighten. I wish I had someone to iron my sheets, but
that someone would be you. And that is not how you're going to spend your time. I mean,
no.
if you choose to, no judgment here.
No, I mean, some people do, and I think it's amazing. Power to you.
Absolutely.
But it's just not going to happen for me
But know thyself
right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's great.
Let's talk about favorite Instagram inspiration. Who are you really loving following these days?
Okay. Dr. Doreen. I'm not going to say her last name, right? But if you put in Dr. Doreen, you'll find her on Instagram. Dodgen McGee.
McGee.
Yeah, she has two last names. Okay. So she's a great follow. We had her on the podcast last year and she talks about media consumption, social media consumption, tech, all that. She's a psychologist. She wasn't on my list, but she's a recommendation of who people should follow. But she recommended this earring company out of Charleston, South Carolina. And I love following them. And it's nothing spectacular. It's always just a pair of earrings. But they're these clay earrings, very bright, which matches her personality. You could see why she would like this company. Anyway, it's a pair of sisters that she met when she was in Charleston. And I went to Charleston last year, right before the shutdown. And so I just have this little affinity with this sister pair who makes these clay earrings that are really bright. They have kind of a modern feel to them. And I just think they're fun. They make
what are they called? The earrings?
Oh, so it's BR Design Co.
Okay.
And we'll link to it. But I just think they're fun earrings. Okay.
Yeah, those are in right now. I like the clay and I like that a lot of people are making them. Like it feels very just craftsman-like,
Yeah, and they're colorful and I like them. KJ Ramsay is someone that I follow on Instagram. She is a counselor and I like what she says. I think she has really hopeful words, and she's a person who talks a lot about her own chronic illness. And so she very often talks about this space where pain meets joy and
I like that.
Hurt meets hope. So she's a hopeful person to follow. We talk a lot on this show about Sally Clarkson.
Sally.
And
love Sally.
She now lives in England. So it's really fun to watch her live in England.
Because her daughter Sarah lives in England. And so we love Sarah too.
Yeah. So she has beautiful pictures, but I always find her parenting posts to be especially helpful to me. She really gives a lot of permission to not have one way of doing things, of parenting to meet your kids where they are and who they are, and very God honoring and people honoring. It's kind of how I see her message of parenting. So I especially like her parenting posts.
Love that.
What about you? Who are you following on Instagram?
Well, have you gotten on the bandwagon with the Sharon Says So, like everybody else?
Well, I do follow her, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't spent a lot of time
Yeah.
listening to her, reading her, but yes.
People love her.
Mhm.
Love her. And the reason why, she says she's America's history teacher. I think that's what she calls herself. And she is very political while being non-political, if that makes sense. Like she really is out for political education, and she tries to bridge the gap between the polarized country. So she'll say, okay, liberals, what do you say about this? And then she'll say, what do you say to the conservatives about this? And then she'll post. And then she'll say, conservatives, what do you say to the liberals about this? And then she'll post,
Mhm.
and so she's trying to kind of be the bridge
Mhm.
between these two. And I just don't see anyone else doing it like she's doing it. And she's funny.
Mhm.
And she lives in the north. And so she's always talking about kind of
Oh
where
yeah.
she lives in the snow and the cold. And, she's kind of cute that way. And she's always got these funny faces. And I don't know, she's just like the perfect person to be standing in the gap right now.
Mhm. She looks a little bit like Adele. So I'm always like, Adele is educating us on America.
That's so funny that you say Adele.
Yeah.
Anyway, I find her to be very interesting. So, yeah, I like that. There is a woman I've been following called the College Nutritionist, and she is about educating people about food. So, here's a myth. Like the other day, she had a little, how people do those reels where they hold up their hand and there's a
Mhm.
comment, and then,
Mhm. Mhm.
she had a reel about MSG and kind of busting the myth that MSG is really bad.
Hmm.
She the other day had something on, 3 quick ways to, keep your diet healthy, and like keep rice cauliflower, or like four different foods, and then she named them. So anyway, she's interesting. She has a lot of those reels. I love Kelly Reese. I met her because we were on a speaker team together in the new year. And
Mhm.
online, we were part of an online women's retreat, and she was one of the other speakers. She has an account called Ministry and Mothering, and she is just darling. I just really, really like her. And so she talks about motherhood. She has 5 kids that are kind of a little bit younger than mine. She homeschools, but she's just a kick. Like she's super cute. So really like her. And then as far as design goes, I'm really into this account called Miss Rustic Arrow. And she just has such a unique, that I love design. And then I just, it's just part of who I am, is the aesthetic. And she does a lot of black, but in a very whimsical way. She uses a lot of black and white and wood. And it's so whimsical how she puts things. I almost feel like I'm in like Peter Pan, when I look at her stuff, because it's so creative, but beautiful. So I really like her.
Okay.
Well, and we probably need to talk about Twitter, because I'm not on Twitter, but you love Twitter. So
Yeah.
say a couple of accounts on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's kind of gone terrible this year. Let's just be
Mm.
honest. So, these are 2 people that I think add joy to Twitter. So, Scarlett Longstreet is hilarious. She tweets about motherhood, and she is Heather Thompson Day's partner they have a brand together called I'm That Wife.
Okay.
So they have an Instagram account, Facebook account. So it's Heather, who I talked about last year. Well, Scarlett's the other half of that. And
Okay.
she's just super funny. Her kids are little. And she just, it's about mothering mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hannah Anderson, whose Twitter handle is, I think, Sometimes a Light. She does a lot of cultural commentary.
Hmm.
And kind of like Sharon Says So, I think she just kind of takes that I don't know what you call it, big
30,000 foot.
picture. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she kind of steps back and says, okay, this is what I see happening. And she's so insightful. She's so insightful. So I really enjoy following her. And I think she has a really solid reputation in that people really like her. She's not out to get anyone, you know?
Yeah.
She's just
I
out to,
appreciate that. People that aren't out to get people.
and that's on Twitter. That's what like 95% of it has turned into. So
That's why I'm not on Twitter. I would literally hate that with my entire being.
Yeah, no, I've taken a step back because it used to be really great links to articles, which is why I liked it. Like, oh, I follow this person and they're curating things for me. But it's just gotten nasty. So she is never nasty. I will say that.
Right.
And then Facebook, I joined 2 groups this year that have really made my life better. View from my window. They might be closed at this point because they have like 2 million people in the group, but it was all people who during shutdown took pictures from their window of wherever they lived, and is people all over the world. It
So
just is
fun.
beautiful. And then they would submit them, and then the moderators would choose photos. So all the photos are really high quality because they would only choose nice ones. But I mean, you're seeing people like, oh, this is their view from Iceland. They live in Iceland, and this person lives in Nairobi. And it helped when the walls were closing in to remember, like, the walls are closing in everywhere, but there are a lot of really cool places out there in the world. So
that's super cool.
And then the Lazy Genius Collective. So we had Kendra Adachi on for Christmas. And in preparation for that, I was doing some research and I joined her group, her Facebook group, essentially. And she's never in it ever. She just kind of created it. And then people go on, and what they do is ask for help on specific things. It's like a tips group. Oh my gosh, it's lovely. It's really lovely. So it's all
like good tips.
It's very, very practical. So I don't have a lot of that in my life, but I need it. So that is a good place for me to go and search any topic, and probably somebody has posted about it.
Yeah, so helpful. Okay, well, let's move on to books. What would you say are, 2 books that you really want to highlight?
Oh gosh. Okay. I mentioned at the end of the podcast, Compassion and Conviction by the And Campaign. The And Campaign I just think they're great in what they put out. And this is their book on civic engagement. It's kind of their main content that they put out this year, but they were very involved during the election, and they're nonpartisan, and they kind of look at how can we live by conviction as Christians and have compassion for our neighbors and advocate for things that are compassionate. So that book. And then I will say, just along that lines, and then I won't mention any other books because I have a super long list. The Space Between Us, which is by Sarah Anderson, is on my to read list. And I think it's similar to the And Campaign in that thread of political conversations, but the subtitle is How Jesus Teaches Us to Live Together When Religion and Politics Pull Us Apart. And I spent a lot of time this fall working on my new book, thinking about how we communicate with each other and finding the best in each other and looking for the good. And politics were a hard place to do that. And I've appreciated the conversations I've heard her having. So I want to read her book. I just haven't yet.
Yeah, so great. Okay, well, I would say The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins is one of the books that I have loved this year. And it's a quick read, and it's literally like one methodology that you implement into your life that has to do with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's a coaching technique. So she's a really big life coach, and she's amazing. So that's been a great book for, like, if you're wanting to kind of push past some barriers, this is really a helpful resource. And then the other book that I would say that I've really loved this year, but it's not a new book, is Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. It is a fantastic book. It's my favorite book by far that I've read of hers. And it's all about how you discipline and train your thought life, kind of like the battlefield of your mind, how you really get a hold of that. And I just feel like, wow, what a timely book for COVID too. I mean, she put it out a little before COVID, but I think it was really, really helpful for me this year. And I think it's kind of one of those books that everybody probably could benefit from.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to food.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of COVID, being at home.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us some of your favorite recipes from this last year?
I'll just mention a couple. So, I love Half Baked Harvest. She's made the favorite lists a lot. I love her, as does the whole world. But she has a great recipe. Her carne asada recipe is fantastic. So good. So, highly, highly, highly recommend her Half Baked Harvest carne asada recipe. And I freeze it. I usually always have one in the freezer that I can pull out. And then I put this on here really for your sake. I created a meatball soup recipe
Yes,
that
you
has
did.
been a big hit around here. And it's just a meatball orzo soup. And it's usually stuff that I have. So I usually have it in my freezer, in my pantry, ready to go. And it's actually on Reels on my Instagram. So people can watch me make it if you want on Instagram. And my last one would be soft peanut brittle, which is kind of a Davenport Hotel special. Davenport Hotel is a landmark hotel, historic hotel in Spokane, Washington. And they have this incredible, it's not peanut brittle, it is soft peanut brittle. And I will just tell you, they are 100% different things. And it is amazing. And I have worked on the recipe a lot, and it's probably one of my most popular posts ever on my blog. But I have been making it, and it doesn't last long. It's a great, great, great recipe.
Okay. Does it involve like a candy thermometer?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
That's the thing about baking, which is why I am more of a cook than a baker. Because of that, it's so scientific. Baking is science. And if you don't get the science right, like if people have flat cookies, it's because you've over sugared them. That's why they're flat. There is a scientific reason behind all the kitchen fails in baking, right? And so you have to be really exact. And with this, you have to use that thermometer, because if you go over the temperature, your whole batch is ruined. So it's a little finicky, but as long as you watch the thermometer, it's no big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. How about you?
Well, I did a lot of baking this year, and I have learned that I really do need to use high altitude recipes here in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
So Mountain Mama Cooks is my go-to, and she's out of Salt Lake City, I think. But her cowboy cookies, super yummy. They kind of have everything in them. And buttermilk biscuits. I just made them 2 nights ago. Because
what made you realize that you were needing to switch to high altitude cooking?
Well, my cookies were funky. They just were flat. And one of my girls made the recipe for chocolate chip cookies on the Nestle package a couple weeks ago. And it was like there were chocolate chips and then just flat. I mean, beyond flat. And it, I think, was because of the altitude. And I know that you always add a little flour, a little water. I don't know the exact science behind it. So I just look for a recipe that says it's been modified for high altitude, because I don't want to have to figure out how to do that.
Right. Because it's scientific.
Yeah. And then I started doing yeast spreads this year too, because COVID, what else are you going to do? And I just only use high altitude recipes, because otherwise it's just not, it's kind of dense and doesn't really rise, and it's weird.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
But
really,
I mean,
interesting.
It's just common knowledge here too, that's helpful.
Okay. Well, great. All right. Last kind of, what is your just miscellaneous favorite thing of the last year?
Miscellaneous favorite things got to be the COVID vaccine. It's gotta be that. I'm just so grateful for it. I'm grateful for people who have minds that are so not mine, that
Mhm.
have been able to figure out science and
So
that they were able
complex.
to work quickly, and
Mhm.
that it's getting out. It might not be getting out at the rate people want, but it is getting out. And my mom's going to get her second shot this next week, and my in-laws are getting their second shot, and I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for that, for the
Yeah.
people who made it happen.
Yeah. And we understand. I mean, some of you are choosing not to get it, and
Mhm.
we get that, and that is fine. That's but a lot of people are, and it's a blessing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm mostly just amazed by the science. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how people figure that stuff out.
I know.
I can't, I'm not going to even try to figure out high altitude recipes, much less
Yeah.
that. So, okay. What about you? One thing we haven't covered that you have loved this year.
The Peloton.
Mm-hmm.
The Peloton. Peloton sales went through the roof this
Mm-hmm.
year, which isn't that interesting. Wait, it was Peloton and what was the other? Oh, beer. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
was laughing at. Someone's like, the highest sales this year go to beer and Peloton. I was like, oh my gosh, that is
Mm-hmm.
so funny. But yeah, I mean, two opposites.
Right. The interesting thing would be the overlap. Like,
Yeah.
how many households was that true for both? Okay.
So, but I have loved it. I mean, we were doing Orange Theory before, and my knees are just not what they used to be. There's just taking that the pressure off my knees and having more cardio on the bike has been really good for my body. Just super, super good. So I'm really thankful for the Peloton. It keeps me motivated. It's fun. It's easy. I just run downstairs, get on my little bike shoes, and off I, start
Mm-hmm.
pedaling. It's quick. It's the best workout that I've had since since Orange Theory. So it gives you a really hard, good workout. And they even have one called Sundays with Love, which is a little more spiritual in nature, not totally, but a little more. And I'm liking that too. So anyway, Peloton would be mine.
Okay. Well, things we love.
Things we
Here we
love.
are.
Oh, and I want to say the last thing about the Peloton for people that are on the fence, my whole family is using it. And so I feel like it encourages everyone. So my husband will get on it during a game and
Mm-hmm.
watch the game, the basketball game. My kids are getting on it. And it's just like right out in, the TV room, and everybody's using it. And so I feel like it's promoted family health. So that's been like a totally side benefit that I didn't anticipate.
Yeah. Yeah. That is good.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we'd love to hear the things you love.
Yeah.
So send them to us.
Yeah.
Send
We
us
want
those
to know.
things.
We want to
Okay.
know. All right, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. We hope you have such a great time with those you love. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.